Hello everyone, welcome to Ask the Champion. My name is Matteo, UK Brewers Cup champion and finalist at the Italian Barista Championship 2024. And I'm here to address your questions and concerns about OutIn products. Let's start with the first question. Hello, when I make my coffee, the water is boiling, but the coffee doesn't flow. How can I fix this? When we talk about espresso, we know that we need to use fine grind size, but sometimes these grinds can be too fine, and that won't allow the water to go through the coffee pack even with high espresso pressure. So my suggestion in case this happens is to start by grinding your coffee coarser, and this to give more space to the water to flow through the coffee. Another reason can be that we have too much coffee in the basket. Having too much coffee gives more resistance to the water that will struggle to pass through the coffee. So placing the right amount in the basket in this case is essential. You can help yourself by dosing your coffee with a small coffee scale, or a good reference is to fill the doser until the top, level it, and then place the whole quantity in the basket. You can help with your finger to distribute the grinds and then thump with the doser. In this way you can have consistent dosing every time you make your espresso. And the only thing you need to do is to adjust the grind setting to get the best out from your favorite coffee. Finally, another reason why this can happen is because when you place the coffee in the basket is wet. This is something that happens often also on commercial espresso machines. If you place ground coffee in a wet basket, it creates a sort of screen that can slow down the flow of the water, giving you inconsistency. So make sure that before placing the ground coffee in the basket, all the parts are dry. And this is something that I teach also to professional baristas. Okay, now let's go to the second question. When I make my espresso, the flow is okay, but there is no crema in my coffee. How can I fix this? When the coffee flow rate of the extraction is okay, but you see the liquid coming out dark and without seeing any crema in your cup, it means that the coffee you're using is not fresh anymore. One of the important characteristics of the espresso is the crema. Everybody is looking for a nice crema in espresso. And also it's the first judgment we give to our coffee. If the crema looks good, the coffee should taste good. This is not always the case, but even if the crema is not the perfect indicator for a tasty espresso, it's definitely a good indicator for coffee freshness. With the roasting process, we have production of CO2 inside the roasting beans. This gas emulsified with the coffee oils and other compounds during the extraction creates the crema on our espresso. Basically, more gas we have in the beans and more crema we usually have in our coffee. This CO2 doesn't remain forever in our beans, it slowly escapes with the time. So, with the passing of the days, this level will decrease until we don't have any more CO2 in the coffee. And that is a sign that tells us that the coffee is not fresh anymore. That can be caused by a very long period from the roasting date, or even if the coffee was not kept in a good condition, either at home or in the roastery. So my suggestion is, when you go to buy your roasted beans, to look at the roasting date. I usually give 2 weeks before starting to use the coffee, because also too much CO2 is not good. It's important to give the coffee a resting period, what we call the gassing period. I also need to say that not all the coffees are the same, so depending on origins, processing and roasting styles, the level of CO2 and the gassing can change, but on average 2 weeks are enough. Some coffee can start to give their best flavor after a month after roast, but we can know that only by tasting it and enjoying it. Okay, the last question for today. The coffee is weak, the liquid flows quickly, and there is no crema. What can I do? This happens when the grind size is too coarse. We discussed the opposite scenario in the first question, if you remember, when we didn't get any coffee out from the machine. In this case, when the coffee is ground too coarse, we allow the water to easily pass through the coffee because the pack doesn't create enough resistance. This implicates watery coffee because we don't give to the water enough time to extract the solids from the grinds. Gives fast flow because, as I said, there is less resistance from the pack, allowing the water to pass through easily. And no crema because to create that emulsion in between CO2 and oils I was talking about in the answer for the second question, we need pressure. Espresso machines operate on an average of 9 bars. This pressure is created by the pump from the machine, but also from the resistance created by the coffee pack. So without a good resistance from the coffee in the basket, we won't have enough pressure to create the crema. Here my suggestion is to grind finer, but remember to always do small adjustments because with espresso the dynamic of extraction can change with a minimal change of settings. Grinding finer you will create more resistance in the pack, making you achieve a stronger coffee with the right amount of crema. And for today, that's all. I hope my insights has been useful to you to brew more delicious coffee with your OutIn Nano. And I will see you in the next Ask the Champion with OutIn. Have an amazing day.